Welcome back. In this video, I'm going to be discussing about my theory against time travel and my theory to counter my theory against time travel. So let us start with the theory against time travel. Why do I think time travel should be impossible? Well, let us take two universes, one which is at 3:30 and one which is at 8:30. Ran in universe 3:30 wants to jump into Ran at universe at 8:30. But what happens to universe from 3:30 to 8:30? Let us consider this to be the universe between. Now, during this time between 3:30 to 8:30, the universe does not actually have Ran in it because he has jumped to 8:30, or at least me. Well, there might be another version of Ran, but well, me. So what about in this universe? Well, clearly I have mass, obviously, and we know from the popular formula E equals mc square that mass is a form of energy. So if you suddenly do not have a being, that you suddenly jump to a different timeline, wouldn't it mean that during this jump, in that time where you're jumping to, in this universe, you would not have the energy of this person? Which is why I believe, as it violates conservation of energy, time travel should not be possible. But how can we counter this? There is actually a popular video where I believe Neil deGrasse Tyson or someone talks about passing a 3D sphere through a 2D space. I will try to link the video in the description. If it is there, I would appreciate if you go and see it. So what happens when you try to pass a 3D sphere through a 2D space? Well, just imagine this is a 2D space, and imagine this is a 3D object, right? If you try to pass a 3D object through a 2D space, there would be nothingness right now. Obviously, I'm showing some thickness because otherwise you wouldn't be able to see it. There's nothing right now. Suddenly there's a part of a calculator there, and then it's going in. Now it became thick. So now the suddenly creation of mass, and then suddenly mass went out. So to a two-dimensional entity, it might seem like there was originally nothing, and then there was one line. That line suddenly became a thick line, and then it went back to nothingness. To him, it would look like conservation of energy was violated. But for a three-dimensional being, the calculator has been there this whole time. It's just that we decided to pass it through that two-dimensional space at that time. So from the perspective of a two-dimensional being, it might look like conservation of energy was violated. But from a three-dimensional viewpoint, we have always known that the calculator has been here. It's just that I decided to pass it through the two-dimensional space at that time. And that's exactly how I think time travel might be possible for a four-dimensional being in our three-dimensional world. That is obviously if you're taking the fourth dimension as time. What would happen is, you can think of this as these different times, like we said 3:30 and 8:30. All the four-dimensional being is doing is he's walking out of the 3:30 time and walking back at the 8:30 time. He's not really ceasing to exist in between. He is still existing. His energy is still there. It's just that we cannot see it. And these are my two theories. One is against time travel and one is for time travel. And thank you for watching. That was my thought about time travel. Hope you liked it.